Repractice. Unit 1, Getting Started in Real Estate. 1. The real estate marketplace is best described as stratified. Real estate markets are typically segmented based on factors such as property type, location, price range, and other characteristics. For example, the market for luxury homes in a particular area may differ significantly from the market for starter homes in the same area. Similarly, the market for commercial properties may be different from the market for residential properties. Therefore, the real estate marketplace is stratified rather than homogeneous. 3. Real estate salespersons will be treated by the IRS as independent contractors if the salesperson's reimbursement is based solely on sales, not hours worked. There is a written contract stating that the salesperson shall be treated as an independent contractor for tax purposes, and the salesperson is licensed as a real estate agent. Merely representing oneself as an independent contractor would be a violation of disclosure requirements and is not considered to be an IRS criteria. Brokers and salespeople contract as independent contractors as required by the Internal Revenue Service. The IRS will treat the real estate salesperson as an independent contractor if the following 3 criteria are met. 1. The salesperson is licensed as a real estate agent. 2. Reimbursement to the salesperson is based solely on sales, not on hours worked. 3. There is a written contract stating that the salesperson will be treated as an independent contractor for tax purposes. The economic reason a broker wants salespersons to be independent contractors is that if they are independent contractors, the broker is relieved of withholding taxes and Social Security, as well as not contributing to Social Security for the salesperson, while real estate salespeople are treated as independent contractors for purposes of state and federal income tax reporting and certain other purposes, such as workers' compensation insurance coverage. They are treated as employees in connection with dealing with the public. 4. A broker ordinarily would be liable to salespeople for a. Unemployment compensation. B. Workers' compensation. C. Social Security contributions. D. None of these. Answer. B. Workers' compensation. A broker is ordinarily liable to salespersons for workers' compensation, which covers work-related injuries. 5. In choosing a broker, a new licensee should be least interested in an office that A. Has a high percentage of successful salespeople. B. Has a good library of books, tapes, and videos for training. C. Offers 100% commission. D. Is a member of a local multiple listing service. C. Offers 100% commission. While 100% commission may sound appealing, a new licensee should be least interested in an office that offers 100% commission because it may not offer the support and training necessary for success in the industry. Instead, a new licensee should prioritize offices that have a high percentage of successful salespeople, a good library of books, tapes, and videos for training, and membership in a local multiple listing service, which provides access to a wider range of properties for sale. These factors can provide valuable opportunities for learning, growth, and networking, which can help a new licensee establish themselves in the industry and build a successful career. 6. The best way to learn is to A. Listen to what others say. B. Read instructional material. C. Watch what others are doing. D. Use the ideas you observe or read about. D. Use the ideas you observe or read about. While all of the options listed can be effective methods for learning, the best way to learn is to use the ideas you observe or read about. Learning by doing or applying the concepts you have learned is often the most effective way to retain and understand the material. By using the ideas you observe or read about, you can gain hands-on experience and develop a deeper understanding of the concepts. Additionally, this approach allows you to learn from your mistakes and make adjustments as needed, which can further enhance your knowledge and skills. Which of the following statements regarding role-playing is true? A. Role-playing situations are limited only by our own imagination. B. Role-playing can be verbalized or non-verbalized. C. Role-playing exercises can involve more than one person. D. All of these. D. All of these. All of the statements regarding role-playing are true. Role-playing situations are limited only by our own imagination, and can be verbalized or non-verbalized. Role-playing exercises can also involve more than one person, and can be a valuable tool for developing skills such as communication, negotiation, and problem solving. By simulating real-life scenarios, role-playing can help individuals prepare for difficult situations and build confidence in their ability to handle them. 8. Which statement is an example of a specific goal? A. I will work harder next week. B. I will improve my listing presentation. C. I will make 10 calls tomorrow on for sale by owner ads and schedule 3 property showings by Sunday. D. I will learn by observing successful agents. C. I will make 10 calls tomorrow on for sale by owner ads and schedule 3 property showings by Sunday. This statement is an example of a specific goal. It includes a clear and measurable objective, Making 10 calls on for sale by owner ads and scheduling 3 property showings by Sunday. The goal is specific, time-bound, and provides a clear target to aim for. In contrast, statements like "I will work harder next week" or "I will learn by observing successful agents" are more general and lack the specificity needed to measure progress or success. "I will improve my listing presentation" is more specific than the first 2 examples but still lacks the clear target and time frame of the example provided. All of the following will aid you in goal achievement except A. That goals should be attainable. B. That goals should be based on what you really want. C. That goals should be kept to yourself because they are personal. D. That goals should be exact so that you can measure their attainment. C. That goals should be kept to yourself because they are personal. All of the other options will aid you in goal achievement. Goals that are attainable, based on what you really want, and exact enough to measure their attainment are more likely to lead to successful goal achievement. However, sharing your goals with others can also be helpful in providing accountability, support, and feedback. While goals can be personal, sharing them with trusted individuals such as a mentor, coach, or accountability partner can provide valuable insights and assistance in achieving them. Proper daily planning means that you should endeavor to A. Reduce D-time activities. B. Increase A-time activities. C. Place more emphasis on probabilities than on possibilities. D. Accomplish all of these. D. Accomplish all of these. Proper daily planning involves a combination of reducing D-time activities, increasing A-time activities, and placing more emphasis on probabilities than on possibilities. D-time activities are those that are neither important nor urgent and can be a major source of distraction and time wasting. By reducing or eliminating these activities, individuals can free up time for more productive and important activities. A-time activities, on the other hand, are those that are both important and urgent and should be given the highest priority in daily planning. Finally, placing more emphasis on probabilities than possibilities involves focusing on goals and activities that are most likely to lead to success rather than getting bogged down in less likely scenarios. By combining all of these strategies, individuals can optimize their daily planning and achieve greater productivity and success. Unit 2: Ethics, Fair Housing, Trust Funds, and Other Legal Issues. 1. 3 brokers agreed that they would not let a third broker show any of their listings. This action would be regarded as A. A group boycott. B. Price fixing. C. Market allocations. D. A tie-in agreement. A. A group boycott. The action of 3 brokers agreeing not to let a third broker show any of their listings would be regarded as a group boycott. A group boycott occurs when 2 or more competitors agree to refuse to do business with a particular person or group of people. In this case, the 3 brokers are engaging in anti-competitive behavior by agreeing to exclude a competitor from the market, which is a violation of antitrust laws. Price fixing involves 2 or more competitors agreeing to set prices at a certain level, while market allocations involve 2 or more competitors dividing up markets or customers between them. A tie-in agreement involves a seller requiring a buyer to purchase a second product or service in order to obtain the first product or service. Ethics relationship to law is that A. If an act is illegal, it is also unethical. B. Ethics tends to precede the law. C. Ethics and the law both set minimum standards for behavior. D. What is ethical is legal. Answer B. Ethics tends to precede the law. What is legal but unethical is likely to become illegal. Ethics goes beyond the law. Ethics tends to precede the law. For instance, in the early 1980s, there was a rash of home purchases with loans being assumed and sellers carrying the balance of the purchase price using a second trust deed. These no-down payment purchasers would rent the homes, pocket the rent receipts, and then not make payments on either the first or second trust deed, a practice called rent scamming. Some purchasers were able to delay foreclosure for more than a year. Though this practice was not at the time a violation of the law, if you apply the golden rule to this conduct, it is reprehensible and, of course, unethical. Statutes were later enacted that made rent skimming illegal. 3. Which of the following phrases would be considered non-discriminatory in an advertisement for rental? A. Christian family. B. Prefer working married couple. C. Just 2 blocks to street. Michaels. D. None of these. Answer D. All of the following phrases indicate a discriminatory preference: Christian family, prefer working married couple, and just 2 blocks to street. Michaels. There has been a great deal of concern as to what advertising might be considered discriminatory. Advertising that a property is close to a particular house of worship or a place that has a racial connotation, such as Martin Luther King Hospital, has been held to be discriminatory, as have ads that indicate a preference for a particular race or marital status, or ads that indicate a member of a protected category is not welcome. A broker with a disabled employee widened the doorway to the restroom to accommodate a wheelchair. This work was performed to comply with the A. Civil Rights Act of 1866. B. Americans with Disabilities Act. C. Rumford Act. D. Fair Housing Amendment Act of 1988. If an employer widens the doorway to a restroom to allow wheelchair access, this is considered reasonable accommodation for handicapped and complies with the Americans with Disabilities Act. B. Americans with Disabilities Act. Widening a doorway to the restroom to accommodate a wheelchair is an example of a reasonable accommodation under the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA. The ADA prohibits discrimination against individuals with disabilities in employment, public accommodations, transportation, and other areas of life. The ADA requires employers to make reasonable accommodations to enable individuals with disabilities to perform the essential functions of their jobs, unless doing so would create an undue hardship. In this case, widening the doorway is a reasonable accommodation that allows the disabled employee to have access to the restroom, and is required under the ADA. The Civil Rights Act of 1866 specifically covers what type of discrimination? A. Sex. B. Marital status. C. Age. D. Race. D. Race. The Civil Rights Act of 1866 was enacted to protect the civil rights of newly freed slaves and other people of color after the Civil War. It was the first federal law to prohibit discrimination based on race or color. Specifically, it prohibits discrimination on the basis of race or color in the sale or rental of property and in the enforcement of contracts. The law was later amended to include protection against discrimination based on national origin as well. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 extended these protections to cover additional areas such as employment, education, and public accommodations, and added protections against discrimination based on sex and religion. A broker showed African American prospective buyers homes in African American and racially mixed neighborhoods. He would show African American prospects homes in predominantly Caucasian areas only if the prospects specifically requested to see homes in those areas. The broker's action was described as A. Illegal. B. Unethical. C. Staring. D. All of these. Answer D. If a broker specifically shows prospective buyers homes based on racial makeup, this is illegal, unethical, and known as staring. It is specifically prohibited by Civil Rights Act of 68. 7. A broker refused to show a young Hispanic family of 5 a condominium about which they had inquired. The broker's action would be proper if A. The broker considered the unit too small for the family. B. There were no other children in the development. C. The development has an age exemption because all occupants are 55 years of age or older. D. 70% of the units are occupied by elderly. Answer C. A broker can only refuse to show a property to a prospective buyer if the development has an age exemption because all occupants are 55 years of age or older. This is an exception to Fair Housing Act. Operators of projects. The 1988 Fair Housing Amendments Act extended protection in regard to familial status and the handicapped. 62 Unit 2 Ethics, Fair Housing, Trust Funds, and other legal issues can either set up a community in which all residents must be at least age 62 or in which 80% of the units are occupied by at least one person age 55 years or older. 9. The state act that specifically prohibits discrimination in business establishments is the A. Unruh Act. B. Rumford Act. C. Holden Act. D. Civil Rights Act of 1968. A. Unruh Act. The state act that specifically prohibits discrimination in business establishments is the Unruh Civil Rights Act. It was enacted in California in 1959 and prohibits discrimination based on sex, race, color, religion, ancestry, national origin, age, disability, medical condition, genetic information, marital status, or sexual orientation in all business establishments, including hotels, restaurants, retail stores, and housing accommodations. The Rumford Act is a California state law that prohibits discrimination in housing based on race, color, religion, national origin, ancestry, sex, familial status, or disability. The Holden Act is a California state law that allows cities and counties to adopt rent control ordinances. The Civil Rights Act of 1968 is a federal law that prohibits discrimination in housing based on race, color, religion, national origin, sex, familial status, or disability. Unruh Act. The Unruh Act prohibits discrimination in all business establishments. The Unruh Act applies to real estate brokers, salespeople, and anyone managing an apartment building or other business establishment. Business discrimination includes housing discrimination based on sex, race, color, religion, ancestry, national origin, disability, medical condition, marital status, familial status, and sexual orientation. The Act has been extended to cover citizenship, primary language, and immigration status. ADA provisions have been incorporated into the Act. A violation of the Unruh Act can result in a court award of a maximum of 3 times actual damages but not less than $4,000. In addition, The violation could result in a civil penalty up to $25,000. The act has been expanded to apply to age discrimination in rental apartments and condominium properties. Housing developed and designed for the special needs of senior citizens is exempt from this act. Rumford Fair Housing Act. The Fair Employment and Housing Act, also known as the Rumford Act, Government Code Sections 12,900 etc., prohibits discrimination in supplying housing accommodations on the basis of sex, color, race, religion, marital status, family status, sexual orientation, disability, source of income, ancestry, or national origin. Anyone selling, renting, leasing, or financing housing must comply with the Rumford Act. While California's fair housing laws protect people regardless of sexual orientation, gender identity, or gender expression, the Federal Fair Housing Act does not specifically recognize these as protected classes. Therefore, for discriminatory practices, an aggrieved party should enforce their rights under California law rather than as a federal matter. While the Unruh Act applies to discrimination by businesses, the Rumford Act applies to all housing discrimination by individuals and businesses. Unlike the Unruh Act, it applies only to housing. Holden Act, Housing Financial Discrimination Act of 1977. The Holden Act prohibits financial institutions from engaging in discriminatory loan activities or practices. Activities covered under this act include awarding building, improvement, purchase, or refinancing loans using the criteria of race, color, national origin, ancestry, sex, religion, or marital status. Discrimination based on the ethnic composition of the area surrounding a property, redlining, is also illegal. 10. Which of the following actions dealing in trust funds would be a violation of the law? A. Giving trust funds received to a principal. B. Placing depository trust funds directly into escrow. C. Placing trust funds in a trust account. D. Placing trust funds in the personal care of a bonded employee. Answer D. Placing trust funds in the personal care of a bonded employee. Placing trust funds in the personal care of a bonded employee is a violation of the law. Unit 3 Mandatory Disclosures. 2. Which of the following statements regarding agency disclosure is true? A. An agent need not provide a seller of a commercial building with an agency disclosure. B. The listing agent cannot elect to be only a buyer's agent. C. Both of these are true. D. Neither of these is true. Answer D. D. Neither of these is true. Agency disclosure applies to commercial and residential units, and listing agent can only be seller's agent or dual agent. 3. Which of the following statements regarding agency disclosure is true? A. The confirmation of agency must be in writing. B. The 3 steps of the disclosure process are disclose, elect, confirm. C. The selling agent must confirm the agency before the buyer makes an offer. D. All of these are true. Answer D. 5. Under Easton, an agent's duty of inspection and disclosure covers A. All types of property. B. Accessible and inaccessible areas. C. A visual inspection and known or should have known defects. D. None of these. Answer C. An agent's duty of inspection and disclosure covers a visual inspection only of readily accessible areas. 6. Which statement regarding earthquake safety disclosure is true? A. It applies to 1A 4-unit residential properties. B. It applies only to homes built before 1930. C. The buyer can waive her right to a hazards report. D. Delivery of a copy of the homeowner's guide to earthquake safety is evidenced by an affidavit from the agent. Answer A. A. It applies to 1A 4-unit residential properties. Earthquake safety disclosure only applies to 1 to 4-unit residential properties. 7. The buyers sign that they have received a booklet relating to A. Environmental hazards. B. Floods, tornadoes, and earthquakes. C. Foreclosure rights. D. Rescission rights. Answer A. Environmental hazards. The buyer must sign to acknowledge receipt of a booklet relating to environmental hazards. There is also a booklet Residential Guide to Earthquake Safety for which the buyer also signs a receipt. 9. The purpose of the Subdivided Lanes Law is to A. Prohibit premature subdivisions. B. Set minimum physical standards. C. Protect purchasers from fraud. D. Allow for a uniform growth pattern. Answer C. Protect purchasers from fraud. The purpose of the Subdivided Land laws is to protect purchasers from fraud. 10. A right of rescission is provided by law for purchase agreements involving all except A. 1A 4-unit residential properties. B. Timeshares. C. Undivided interest subdivisions. D. Both B and C. Answer is A. 1A 4-unit residential properties. The right of rescission is provided by law for purchase agreements involving timeshares and undivided interest subdivisions. There are statutory rescission rights for a number of transactions. Buyers, or borrowers, must be informed of their rights. Failure to disclose rights of rescission extends this right. Truth in Lending Act, Interstate Land Sales Full Disclosure Act, California Land Projects, Home Equity Sales, Miller's Disclosure, Timeshare, Undivided Interest Subdivision.